Hey, Dr. Shern, and this is your weekly dose of empowerment. All right. So, welcome to EMHC, Empower Me Holistic Counseling. And I am Dr. Brandon Shern, and I want to thank you for taking the opportunity to view this video. In the first video, this series, right, we're talking about anxiety. I'm giving you some stuff, some key points to understand about anxiety in this video. Um, and in the prior video, I talked about what anxiety is. I gave a definition. And if you haven't watched that video, please go, it'll be in the links, it'll be in the description. So you can just go ahead and watch that video because it'll prep you for what I'm going to be covering in this video and what I'm going to be talking about and sharing with you in this video. Okay. So the first video lays the foundation. And that's important to understand, especially if you want, because of the key points that I'm going to share. And so this video is going to be a little bit shorter in duration because it's just the key points that I want to share with you, so that when we get to the questions, which is the next video, that you understand how and what the purpose of them, what the purpose of those questions are. Okay. So again, click the link below, go watch the first video, the first installment of this video, and then come back and I'll be right here waiting for you. Okay. So in in this there are five things that you need to five additional key points in addition to the stuff that I shared in the prior video. Okay. So anxiety is the result of something, right? Something is causing you to experience anxiety. And that's important. Now, remember, I'm saying remember, like I'm saying remember because I am trusting that you went and watched the video. Okay. So anxiety represents the gap between now and the future. Okay. Now and the future. Now and the result of how is something going to turn out. So anxiety is the result of something. I'm concerned with how this thing is going to turn out. I'm concerned, and I'm concerned to an extent that it's overwhelming me. It's overpowering my ability to focus. That worry is linked to the future, right? So we don't, even immediate, in the immediate, we don't worry about things that have happened, right? In the past. So if you've done something, all right, let's say really, let's you you break something, right? So typically as kids, we would break something in the house. Well, that has already happened, right? So we're not worried about what we broke. We're worried about what's going to happen because of what we broke, all right? Or lost or whatever, right? So that is a past tense thing. So you don't worry about that. You worry about the outcome. Okay. So often the attempt is because we're trying to figure out how something is going to turn out. I broke this, I lost this, I I didn't study as well. The test is here. What is going to happen? Okay. Now, the impact is similar. Doesn't matter if you're a child, if you are a teenager, or if you are an adult. Okay. So the demonstration of this is found in outburst of anger. So you get frustrated, you don't know how things are going to turn out, from not studying and for being less than careful or not being careful enough. However, whatever phraseology or terms you use to, you know, identify with whatever that event is, figuring out how it's going to turn out is problematic for people. Um, and it can be linked to one or many things. So it's not, so don't make the mistake of thinking there's only one cause. And this is what a lot of people do, right? So, and this is what causes us to just skim the surface of things. So we try to figure out what is causing us to experience, the worry, the jitters, the anger, the whatever, and we typically look at the surface. It's the immediate thing. Okay. So I'm upset because I'm worried because whatever, right? I'm anxious because whatever, fill in the blank. And it's typically the first thing that comes that's top of mind, which really isn't the thing that's top of mind, or it maybe it is, but it's only adding to, right? Now, I'm not saying that it's always linked to multiple things. It doesn't have to be, but it could be. So don't make the mistake of just assuming that it's only one thing. Okay. So anxiety can represent, this is this final point, anxiety represents and it can result in an overload of energy. Okay, so now here's the problem with that, and this is for me one of the biggest things as I tousle my hair. This is one of the biggest things for me, um, because this overload can impair your ability to sleep, think, focus, and can mimic symptoms of ADHD, right? So a lot of the times I wonder, for people that are, you know, struggling with insomnia, what 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 are you worried about? What have you put off? What have you continued to kick down the road and not address? What important decisions do you need to make have you not made? The thinking, the focus, that's mimicking ADHD, right? So you have the inattentive type, but then you also have the outburst or the explosive type, right? The impulsive type, the combined type. So we have kids that are diagnosed with ADHD, and it could be a reaction to some other stuff, right? That they're worried about. And then, but what happens is they are told this, and they're told by professionals that they have this, and their parents believe it. And then what they do is they get on a medication, and the medication seems to help. And so now we believe that the medication is, that the diagnosis is accurate, when it could be an underlying theme of anxiety, and then the anxiety is overloading the circuit breaker, right? So think about that, right? If you For those of you that have a house, if some you overload your circuit, your outlets, and you have a power surge, the entire house didn't go dark, just the room. What you do, you go to the source. You go to the source. You go find, okay, so for me, in my house, in my garage, is where the circuit breaker is. I know because the power has gone out. In my office, I know which switch to trip and to reset. Okay. The same thing with my bedroom. Every switch in this house, I know where to go to. But also it'll tell you. All you got to do is open the panel and you can see which one is not in a full on position, and you address it. So that energy overload can cause shutdown, right? So if I overload the circuits in my office, it's going to cause the surge it's going to cause a surge on the circuit breaker. It's going to pop everything. I lose power in here until I go and reset it. Okay. Simple stuff, but it becomes complex you know, when we start actually taking steps to deal with it. Now, I talked about the circuit breaker, right? And how overload trips the circuit breaker. Now, unfortunately for us, we don't have, the panel. We do, but it's not as straightforward as going out to the garage or utility, wherever you might have a circuit panel, and looking and locating the one that is tripped. So in the next video, I'm going to give you the questions that you need to ask yourself. And it's going to be like taking and opening the circuit panel, the panel to the circuit breaker, whatever, so that you can identify what is causing the energy overload, what could be causing you to not sleep, what could be causing you to not be able to focus and to think straight, and what might be underlying. Is it ADHD if you have a diagnosis, or is it some anxiety, some worry? Okay. So come back next video, and I'm going to walk you through that piece right there. Okay. So again, thank you for viewing this video. Like, subscribe, comment, all of that stuff below. Click on that subscribe button, because that's going to get you all the content when it releases on a weekly basis. I'm sitting here, I'm wanting to empower you. Um, so I appreciate the love, and I appreciate your time, right? You let me into your ears and into your brain. um that's I borrowed that, so shout out to Joe Sanok on that one. And again, Empower Me Holistic Counseling, EMHC. We're here to empower you, and I want to do that in this way, in whatever way I can, just deliver massive value along some things that we typically struggle with. Okay, so come back next video, and we're going to dive into the 6 questions that you need to ask yourself. It's going to take the circuit panel off, and it's going to help you identify some stuff that you need to, that you might need to address, or you might need to modify. Okay, so take care. See you on the next video.